Thank you, Dascan Caller. Minister, at the outset, this bill has been rushed through. And I have no doubt but it will go through the House and will go to committee stage where there will be more amendments. Deputy Carol Nolan has just said there, and said it myself again, that Victor Boylan, an independent senator, has put down 9 amendments, and 9 amendments were ruled out of order. Again, you're not listening to the people on the ground that know what they're talking about. It is estimated that the national approximately a massive 45% of treated water is lost in this country due to leakages. Can you imagine that, Minister? 45% of the water extraction or water in this country is leakages. I wonder how many of the leakages are in Dublin based alone, if they may fix the water leaks up here, that they wouldn't have to look for water to be piped from the Shannon to Dublin at the cost of the taxpayers. Minister, at the outset of this, when the introduction of this bill was made today, they were talking about scientific evidence. Recently in Limerick, we had people that were put under a floodplain in the Derrykeel district in Limerick. And these levels are taken from Mallinhead, and that's where they work their bases off for their scientific evidence. They put businesses and households under a floodplain. So the people in their own houses and businesses had to go away and get an independent investigation and evaluation done to find out that the OPW and the EPA, that their mapping is inadequate. It hasn't been updated in years, and yet you're bringing a bill into this House to get it passed when you have no current data on scientific evidence. It cost a householder in Limerick €1,100 plus VAT to get his own review, which now he has to give to the local authority to bring his house out of a floodplain, which it's not in, because information is inadequate. This bill should be looked at more should be done on it before it's actually brought through this House. Because all you're doing is you're bringing hardship on people around this country, putting them into floodplains with inadequate information, and they have to pay to get back out of it because of the lack of information that you have yourselves. This is hitting farmers, householders, SMEs are back paying again for your inadequate scientific information that you don't hold. So why would you bring this bill through and try and rush it through with the wrong information? If you go for planning permission at the moment for a house, they put down that their flood maps, geographical surveys, they put them down and they said that you've got to do, they asked the applicant to check if their house is in a floodplain, but they're telling you it is, and you go out and you check it, and you find out it isn't. Minister, this will go to the committee, and a committee stage will be the only chance, because we'll be voted down on this if it goes to vote. So the only chance we have at this is getting into a committee stage where we can actually put in amendments at committee stage and bring it back in front of this House for debate. I believe that is the only way that we're going to have it. We're talking about the local authorities and the Irish water in this country. And it has been proven by the OPW's own surveys that the biggest polluter in this country is the local authorities, which have been crying out for funding for years to upgrade sewerage systems and water systems around this country, and have promises from governments, previous governments. We're going back 32 years in the Skeeton, still waiting for funding, but you're allowing raw sewage go into the rivers. And then you want to bring in an extraction bill to bring, what are you bringing out of the sea levels, and what are you bringing out from extraction is what you're putting into it in the first place, which is raw sewage. And then you want to treat it. Minister, we need something here. And I was actually with somebody yesterday that they came up from my parish in Grannon. There was a young girl, 14 years of age. and her mother was with us, and we sat down outside and we were having a cup of tea, and do you know what they said to me? Richard, common sense isn't that common here in Dublin, or isn't that common within the government. Now that came from a family that are living outside of Dublin. They're living outside in a rural area like myself in Grana. Now, they're saying that, but we want common sense when it comes to this bill. This bill needs to have the amendments put through. This bill needs to be debated properly and not rushed through this Dáil. Listen to the people on the ground. Listen to the farmers, listen to the SMEs, because you've based this bill to go through this Dáil on scientific information that is out of date. And we've been told by the OPW the C-frame maps could take up to 3 or 4 years to upgrade the C-frame maps that are out of date. But yet you're making all these rules and regulations which are being imposed on people, and they have to go and pay money to show you that your information is wrong. So, Minister, and I'm going to finish on this. The EPA have confirmed that there are 211,000 boil water notices in Ireland in 2021 on tap water that was not safe to drink. On the 7th of October 2022, the EPA released a report which showed that the quality of drinking water in the public supply remains high, with over 99.7% compliance with bacterial and chemical limits. Right? So they're saying that there is 211,000 boil notices, and then they come out and they say there's 99.7% of quality water. And that's scientific evidence as well. Please, Minister, I impose you that the amendments, when they do come through committee, that they're listened to from the people that understand it. And if you do want to bring a bill through this House with your scientific information, will you try and make sure that it's current scientific information and not outdated by 3 or 4 years? You're saying climate change, it changes on a weekly basis in this country because of the world domination that applied to it. But yet you're making rules for something here that's 3 and 4 years out of date, when you should have first have done your surveys and brought everything up to date, your scientific information. So again, you're out of date. You're out of reality when it comes to people putting in their amendments in for this bill. You're out of touch with the farming sector, the SME sector. So please, Minister, I would implore you to accept amendments to this bill to try and get this bill right and not put hardship on farmers, SMEs, householders and people of this country that have to live, that understand the network that is there. Thank you.